Hello again, YouTube. This is Joe, the 50-something Dasher, back at you with another video here. Got an action-packed video here for you today. Should be a good one. Um, Picked up a couple of subscribers yesterday. Wanted to say thank you. Appreciate it very much. Appreciate the support. Closing in on 900, so hopefully we can get over that hump in the next couple days. We'll see. Uh, Thanks again for the continued, I've been getting prayers, well wishes, things like that. Appreciate the support. Today was my first day back to dashing uh, after the surgery, and I'll get to that. Didn't go so great today, but I'll get from a physical standpoint, and I'll get to that. Um, but first, let's get into kind of like the lead feature story here. So, when I was in the hospital, DoorDash, I'd seen a call coming in from DoorDash. I couldn't answer it. I was in my room in the ER, and thought maybe it was a customer from an order the day before, calling. I didn't know what the phone call could have been. I don't know, but I couldn't answer it anyway. Okay, so fast forward to today. Did my dash, came home, ate a little bit of lunch, and then absolute perfect timing. The DoorDash calls again right as I finished eating and before I had a chance to start on this. Okay, so it was, and it was a guy. He was really cool. He spoke to me for a little over 15 minutes about this, the new medical delivering thing that's going on that I signed up for last week. First, he just wanted to ask me if, like, where I was at with everything. Like, did I get the original email? Did I do like the course and the test? And I said, yeah, I did all that. I can't remember what day it was last week. And a couple days later, I got the $20, and then after that, I haven't heard or seen anything. And he said, okay, that's where you should be at right now. We're good. Um, it's going to start this next week is when it starts. And basically, he just wanted to call to give me a kind of like an overview of everything, like the how just kind of like painting a little bit better picture for me of how this is going to work. Um, so I did not know this until speaking with him, but these orders are going to be like scheduled ahead. So I'll come, I don't know, Monday or Tuesday or whenever next week. I should get an offer and it'll come in on my app. He said, just like, any of the other offers that I usually get, but I'm sure it'll look different. And it'll, I'll get an offer, but it'll be for a future time. So I don't know, like maybe at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, I might get an offer for one of these medical routes, and I accept or decline. He said you can accept or decline just like any other offer, and then maybe like at 6 or 7, I get one that has like a start time at 9, for example, and you have to be such and such place at like 9 a.m. just for an example. And so the each route is expected. They wanted to make these routes to where they would take like at least an hour to do. So an hour or more. So we're not looking at something here that's just going to be a couple pickups and a drop off and take like 20 or 30 minutes. They're all expected to take at least an hour, and with an expected pay rate of approximately $30 an hour. Okay, and he said there would be a base pay attached to this, and then $4 per order. And I try to I had to kind of like clarify that. Are you talking per offer or per order? And he said it was per order. If you have a route with, I don't know, 5 orders in it, and you complete all 5 of them, then it would be $4 for each one. So $20 added onto that base pay when you complete the all of them. That's my understanding of this. A couple other things here. He said that the little course talked about possibly using a some kind of like a bag or equipment. He said there's just disregard that. There's not going to be any kind of like medical delivery bag that you're going to need, or all of these things are packaged in a way that you're supposed to just be able to pick these up in the packaging that they're in, put them in your vehicle, and go and deliver. Um, I asked about the what kind of work, like as far as I said, I don't know if you're familiar with Central Ohio or not, but I work on the southwest side. And I do, for the most part, I pick up in one zone, and it's kind. I work in a long distance zone. Basically, is what I said. I pick up in one area and I deliver to like 5 other zones. It's kind of, it can get spread out. So with this, how much can you tell me about, like, what kind of, how spread out is this going to be? Am I going to see things that are keeping me, relatively close to home, or am I going to be like driving all over Central Ohio? Or like, just in this example, I've heard from things about like Amazon Flex. I've heard that you go to at a specific location to do your pickup, and then the route can take you like anywhere. You have no idea like where you're going, or is it going to be like that? And he said that it's the what they're targeting is like a 20-mile radius. So I should get things that stay within about 20 miles. And on top of that, they want to try to work it to where the the last place that the last stop on the route is closer to your home. That's the goal anyway. Um, Another thing that I asked is if what, if anything, could he tell me about, just how many people was this like offered to? And he said, well, I don't really have a number for you. And he said, the thing about that is even if I did, he said, I mean, the thing about it is you kind of know that how, dashers can be, how they're kind of like, in and out. So, we may have sent this out and offered it to however many dashers, and some of them may have gone through the course, some of them may not have, some of them may have thought they were interested, but when it comes time for it to actually get here, now they're not interested. People can kind of be in and out on things, and so it's it's hard to say. It's hard to say how many people were offered it and how many like will do it, or who knows. Um, but and this is also like some kind of a deal that they reach with the Red Cross. So it's my understanding from this phone call that these are all these pickups are having to do with the Red Cross. And he acted like this is a big thing. It's like a really big account, and a big deal that was reached, that DoorDash reached with the Red Cross. and like I said, a big thing. And he said, you don't have to worry about that. There will be like opportunities with this. No, you don't have to worry about that. We, gave this out to, too many dashers and there's not going to be enough route. No, this is a big thing. There's going to be a lot of orders and routes and all throughout the day, 24 hours pretty much is way he acted. I mean, we'll see. So, um, and then the last thing that I kind of talked to him about. Sorry, guys, I'm with my friend here to try to control the coughing for this video. I said one last. Of course, I didn't know that anybody would be calling me about this. I didn't have like questions prepared or anything. So I just, whatever in this phone call that I kind of thought of to ask. And I said, one thing that kind of struck me funny is, I said this was like a really extremely short course that we took, and there was absolutely nothing whatsoever talking about HIPAA. I said, is there going to be like any kind of like additional training or anything else that we have to do? Or, because I find it kind of odd that HIPAA was, you're becoming a medical courier and HIPAA is not even mentioned whatsoever. And the representative said that, okay, so the deal with that is that was part of, like, in all the negotiations and before the deal was signed and everything, all of that was discussed and like ironed out to where, so basically everything that we're going to be picking up is we shouldn't be seeing anything. We probably won't be seeing what we're picking up, and if we're talking about blood samples or whatever we're talking about here, we're not going to know what it is or who it's from because of how everything's packaged. I guess like the packaging is like, sounds to me anyway, like by far and away the biggest part of this whole entire deal that was like struck. It's the packaging is the biggest thing. And it's because of the way that everything's packaged is why, we don't have to do like all kinds of like HIPAA training. And now if we see something that's like, packaged, it's not, it doesn't seem like it's packaged correctly or it's opened or what, if something doesn't seem right or whatever, then we're supposed to pick it up. We're supposed to take a picture of it and contact support. And there's like procedures, that I'm sure, maybe I'll run into this later and, as we go. But there's all kinds of procedures for that. And another thing too is there's going to be a separate dedicated support for this. So, and he said that either before I get my first offer that I take, or right after I take an offer, sometime I'll get contacted by this support team. So they're gonna call me and talk to me first before I go out and do my first route. So, and that was about it. That was the 17-minute phone call, and so at least now I got a, maybe not the fullest picture in the world, obviously, but I know a lot more today than I did, yesterday, of course, and yeah, looking forward to this. So it kind of seemed like, if this is going to be as many opportunities as what he's kind of leading me to believe. Um, I don't know. There might be a chance. Could there be a possibility, like on the weekdays, that I could only do this, and then and then the food orders and the shopping and all that type of thing I do on the weekends, and Monday through Friday is all medical deliveries. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, we'll just have to see. The one thing I'll say though, I don't know. We'll see how much of a drawback this really is or whatever. But I would have. I think I still would have preferred to, if I'm gonna get. I just like it better to get an offer, accept it, and boom, then I go start working on it. So I'm not a huge fan of things being scheduled ahead. Now, if you're talking about some kind of catering order from somewhere that's going to pay you like 150 or $200, or well, yeah, okay, yeah, I don't mind scheduling ahead something like that. But if we're just talking some kind of like $30 or $40 job, and I have to schedule ahead, and then you have to be careful with what orders you take before, and then you have to allow yourself time to get to that location, and you have to watch what you take before that time, and then that's all just kind of a hassle. He also talked about, okay, let's say you have like a 9 a.m. Appointment time, and you on your way and get to the place at like 8:45. They want you to pause your DoorDash app. When you get to a place like wherever your first pickup is, they want you to be on a pause, and then you're basically it's just downtime for 10 or 15 minutes until maybe you can. I don't know, maybe on some of these you can pick them up early. We'll see. I didn't ask, but yeah, I would just prefer that. Okay, they give me an offer, I accept it, and then I go straight to pick something up. But anyway, okay. Now to today's dash. Logged in at 6 o'clock. Um, Today I just had to be. They said I wasn't supposed to drive. Of course, the day Wednesday, the day of the surgery, or yesterday, they didn't want me driving or working, and they said I could go back to work today, so I did. Okay, and had to be careful. What wasn't supposed to like over. The more I overexerted myself, or the more I lifted and activities and stuff like that, then the more blood that was going to come out of my pee, basically. Okay, so there you go. uh, and we'll get to that. 6:05, I get an upside down McDonald's, so I'm going to decline that. 1975, it's going to downtown and also kind of a high item count, so decline. Um, or no, I took it. Oh, I guess I took that. Oh well, close out that screen already. There's the list. 100% shop. Yeah, I remember now. So I broke both of the rules I had for myself. I broke. You see there, I broke it on the very first offer that I took. To start off this morning, I wanted to stay close to home in case I had problems. And on shopping orders, I didn't want a whole lot of weight. Okay, so I broke both rules like an idiot on this first offer, going 100 miles away, and this was a fairly heavy order. You had the Insure, the Pediasure. There was another like a 10-pack case of like pop or something. several, like 4 or 5 cases of like bottles like these in that screenshot. Um, Delivered at 710. 17.75 the dollar boost, and there is the tip right there. Appreciate it very much. Yeah, and that was like 2 catering bags. I had to, it was a little bit of a walk I had to do with those, and probably should have used the wagon on that, but I didn't. I don't know. Guys, I don't know. Hopefully I didn't do too much damage to myself today with these orders. I gotta work though. We don't have paid time off with DoorDash. I had to make some kind of money today. Right away, I get this. I went in and took this order. This is the downtown Columbus Kroger. I haven't been there for a while, but yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Um, Here's the list. This candle, I think, was the only thing that they didn't have. Message. They didn't even have that brand. They had this other kind of generic brand. I sent the shelf picture. You see, like 3 minutes goes by. I shopped the other items and was just about to like call the customer, and she, messaged right at the perfect time and said, just go ahead and refund. So went ahead and did that, and so 15-minute shop, and delivered at 7:39, 29 minutes, 575 tip on that. So I'm at $30, hour and a half in. Let's keep doing out of zone work. I don't care. Let's do it. This is the West Broad Street Dollar General. I haven't been to that location in a while either. I think I found all of this. The only thing that was easy was the paper or the toilet paper. The other, well, the snacks, that store is like configured weird. Like all the cookies and everything, it's not in an aisle. It's in these little, they got a bunch of displays up towards the checkout. And that's where like all the cookies and snacks are. It's like, it's a weird setup in that location. But I found them. And this, where this air freshener was, that aisle was almost like completely empty, but that's like one of the 2 total things that they had. They only had like 2 kinds of sprays total, and just a couple cans, and lo and behold, that was one of them. So thank you. 4-minute shop. And so I go to, I check out, I go to my car, and this is where I'm going now to deliver. I'm going absolutely nowhere because my app is down. Appreciate it very much. It happens from time to time. It's the most annoying thing. I go to, I did my own troubleshooting steps, but nothing was working, closing down the app, bringing it back up, airplane mode, this and that, turning Wi-Fi on and off, all my different steps. All I could get's the white screen. Okay, I don't have a customer address. Get on the phone with DoorDash support. I make Marissa get me a live agent because I don't know why Marissa can't fix this. I really don't. I've complained, and if anybody from DoorDash is watching, why can't Marissa, and I don't know the guy, what's the guy's name, the AI? I don't even know his name. Why cannot they be programmed to do the simplest of tasks? Why can't Marissa reset my app? Why can't she add money to my red card so I can complete a transaction? Why can't they do these simple things? Why does it have to be the live agent? Folks, so I get the live agent and the phone call you see here, top of the screen, about 5 minutes. Okay, so just 5 minutes, complete waste of time sitting in the Dollar General parking lot. Appreciate it very much. But you see here, delivery time of 8:18. I still got 17 minutes. I had plenty of time even still to deliver. Um, I and then I remember this. I had to mess with that for 5 minutes, and then I'm going along, following GPS, going to this customer, and I come up on this one street. And I don't know if this was construction or I don't know what was going on, but the road was closed to just one lane. And only the oncoming traffic was coming. And our side was just sitting there. There's probably like 3 or 4 cars in front of me, so I couldn't see what was going on in front of me. It must have been like somebody moving, or it probably wasn't construction because if there had been a flagger, you let one side go, then you stop them, you let the other side take their turn, and our side wasn't moving, but I was able to turn and go and drive down another street basically. But the 5 minutes on the phone call and then another 2 or 3 minutes wasted at that scene. What was it, 8:18? I delivered at 8:17, so just got there on time. 7:25 from DoorDash, 350 tip. And then, I get an offer that's in zone. Wow. Okay, so it takes, what is this, like my fourth order? I finally get something that's picking up and delivering in zone. So I take this, get to Target. No, actually, this screenshot I took right with the offer. The only concerning thing here is fresh pet. I've talked about this before, and it's not just like a Target, but it's any of these places. Meijer, Kroger, any of them that have the fresh pet coolers. You go in there and it's either relatively stocked well or it's like practically empty. It's so hit and miss, and I don't know why it can't stay stocked at these stores, but I get there at 8:35 and check it out. So there you go. It's a little bit hard to see because of the reflection. I tried to stand away so that I wasn't in the picture. But this is completely, totally empty except for 4 1-pound rolls here, right here on the next to bottom shelf. Other than that, the whole entire thing's empty. Lo and behold, though, this one right here on the left, that was one of the actual 2 items. So, and then the one on the right was a customer approved substitution for the other item. So that even though it's practically empty, I was able to, get 2 rolls here and satisfy this order. And then, of course, then that only left 2 total rolls in this whole fridge. It's crazy. And so this was an 8-minute shop. These cookies right here, they only have one of those left. Grab the last one of that. Delivered at 8:52. 30 minutes for 11:25. So 9:25 from DoorDash, and appreciate it very much. What's next here, folks? Upside down Chick-fil-A decline. You might as well say $21, 7 miles. Yeah, it's going a little bit out of zone, but only 11 things to shop. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go ahead and do this. Now, we'll say, like, especially for that, let me back up for a second to that Target order. Um, I could, my, how normally I talk about when I'm on these shopping orders, I'm like a mad maniac, lunatic running, like literally running through these grocery stores doing these orders. Yeah, that was not happening today, folks. Okay, so, this, when you got a stent, go, my wife's aunt was asking my wife earlier today about it. This stent that Joe has, where exactly is this? And she's kind of getting nosy and everything. And I'm not going to use the words that my wife told her. That I told my wife. I said, no, you said it. You used the wrong words when you gave her the answer. Okay, what you should have said. Okay, when her aunt asked where that was, your response should have been, it's all the way up his pee hole. Folks, I mean, that straight up, that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about some kind of tube that I don't know what it looks like or exactly how long it is, but it's going all the way up that pee hole. So I was not going to be running through the stores today. Okay, I will say I haven't been in pain, uh, but uh, uncomfortable is the word I'm looking for here. So kind of like uncomfortable. Uh, Also, getting in and out of my car, I was kind of doing that kind of gingerly. um, and yeah, looking forward to getting that thing out of me on Sunday. And guess who is taking that out? Guess who they're going to have take that out of me on Sunday? And if there's a problem and I can't do it, I'm supposed to call them Monday and say, hey, I need to come in because I couldn't get it. And I asked him, I said, so okay, so how exactly do I take this out? And it's, well, it's just real, nice and easy, nice, steady motion, and pull the thing out, using the string that's on the end of it. And I'm like, well, okay, yeah, so I'll do that. Yeah, I'll just be able to just simply just grab onto that and pull that, long ass rope out of there on. Yeah, it should be no problem. Okay, yeah. So we'll see, guys. They sent me home with some oxys, and I thought about on Sunday taking one of those, like, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes before I go to pull that thing out. But I thought, no, I wouldn't want to mess with some kind of medication like that unless I actually had to. I don't want to touch those. Um, so I'm thinking about on Sunday I'm thinking about doing my dash first because I don't want to mess that up, and then I'll mess with all this after the dash. And I was thinking about just taking like a regular painkiller about a half hour before, and then just go for it, people. I don't know here. And one last thing that I said, I'll say about it is, did say like the more activity that you do or whatever, then the more blood that was going to be in your pee. And that happened today. So this morning, everything was, pretty regular, not much blood there. And then I did, more and more of these shopping orders. And at one point, I come home before I took my last offer, which I'll get to, and I went to pee here, and there was, there was more blood there, and since then as well. And but anyway, we'll get to all that. This order had some kind of weird stuff up from the front, like these little tiny bottles of jam from the deli counter. I've only bought something like this like one time before in a shopping order, but I found that you got this spreadable brie cheese, this pepperoni. They had like three different pepperoni displays, but I found that. And they even had rotisserie chicken at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I found all of this. That's pretty awesome. In only 8 minutes, delivered at 9:25. So about a half hour, and an extra quarter was added for some reason. So $21. 9:25 from DoorDash and 11.75 tip. So that was a pretty good one. $950 General 6 miles. And folks, what did I say is probably like 2 videos or 3 videos ago? What did I say? I said I was going to not take orders from that Dollar General location anymore. What do you think I did? I accepted it. I guess because okay, it's 9:30. That 9:50 6 miles. This isn't bad, and it's only 5 items. 9:30 is kind of an off time. I guess I was thinking I'm close to that location. I'm going to be passing by it anyway. I figured, if I decline this, I don't know. I could go 15, 20 minutes without getting anything else at this particular time. So I went ahead and chanced it and took it. Thank you very much. I get inside that Dollar General. Okay, so here's my items. I get inside there. I'm walking through the front door and about to look for that trash can first. And the one worker there that I've only seen this worker, I don't know, 3, 4 times, not very often, and I've just had maybe a couple exchanges with her, 2 at the most, where I've asked for help. It's mostly this other mean lady that works there that I mostly see. Okay, so I walk in there and she immediately, and I don't even look at I know who it is, but I don't look at her, and I'm just kind of like beelining back to the back, and she says, "Oh, do you ever go home? It seems like you're always working and always in here." And I thought, sure, there's like another guy, like another customer or vendor or somebody that was near me. I thought, sure, she couldn't have been talking to me. I thought she was talking to this other person. I just keep doing what I'm doing. I can't find the wastebasket, so I come back to get her help. And again, it was directed to me. So I come up to her and she said, "Oh, don't you ever go home?" Or, yada, yada, yada. And I'm thinking to myself, lady, I didn't say this to her, but I'm like, I have probably only ever seen you like maybe like 4 or 5 times and only had like 2 exchanges. What are you talking about? And she's acting like I'm in there all the time. And I said, well, I said, well, I wasn't in here the last 2 days just because I just had a surgery 2 days ago and had a kidney stone removed. So I wasn't in here the last 2 days. And she said, well, no, outside of that, you're in here like 3, 4 times a day, every day. No, I'm not. I mean, she had to be confusing me with somebody else, guys. I don't know. I don't know what she's talking about. But after this order right here, I could quickly solve that problem, and I could stick to what I originally said a couple days ago and not go back to this location anymore. I don't know why I went there today, folks. I really don't. She can't help me with the trash can, okay? They don't have any trash cans whatsoever, okay? I find the four other items though. Thank you very much and congratulations. The customer is not responsive, okay? Even though there's no other trash cans, before you just refund something, they still want you to call. So I called, no answer. Then I sent my copy and paste. Okay, and I'm going up to the register with the other four things. And I get up there and, run the red card and appreciate it. The red card is declined, insufficient funds. And the cashier lady asked what I wanted to do, and I'm like, I'm not even bothering with this. I'm just gonna drop it. So and so for and I bought less than what was on the order because one item was refunded. So that leads me to believe that insufficient funds. Well, on this particular order, then if that was the case, then no funds were added whatsoever because I checked out with a less dollar amount than the total. So this was a drop. So 15-minute complete total waste of time, and congratulations. Not doing Crumble and a Michael shop and going clear out to the east side for only 16 bucks. Upside down sheets going to German Village decline. Here's that Michaels. So the Michaels must be going out there, and then a shorter Taco Bell. I don't know. I didn't want to mess with this one either. Decline. Here we go, $22, 4 miles, only got to shop 5 total items. So I went ahead and took this. But there's one problem here. And especially with today being the 13th, on every shopping order, I needed to, regardless if it's only 5 items, I still need to look at that before I accept. I didn't on this one. Okay, but first I get this, I'm pulling into Kroger and I get this add-on. Pet Supplies Plus is right there in the same shopping center, and this really isn't adding any. I'm just shopping for 2 items there, no additional mileage, an additional 11 bucks. Yeah, absolutely. So I went ahead and took this, and the Kroger flowers, Valentine's Day gift on customer B. Thank you very much. Would not have accepted this order if I would have seen that. I don't care that it's just $20, 4 miles. Wouldn't have done it. But like a fool, I accepted it without looking, and then now I'm stuck with it. Great. My wife was like, well, just why are you acting like that? Just get help if you don't find the flowers. What's the big deal? Just let somebody help you. What's the big deal? Well, easier said than done. She doesn't do this on a full-time basis like I do. I think she done a bunch of these orders and did a bunch of celebratory and flower orders or what, she, after a while, she'd think differently. So I go to the flower department. There's like 3 staff people there. It's like there's more staff than customers. So well, I'm not even going to try to look for these. I'm just going to show them the picture. The first lady passed me off to this this younger girl that was supposed to be the expert, I guess, but she really wasn't any help. She just said, "Oh, I don't think we have this. The only flowers like that we have are right here, and they've all been like upgraded to like this was just like a bouquet of flowers in a vase. The upgraded ones had like candy added to it. Okay." So she said it might be like on one of the other tables, or but we don't have it that I know of. And the customer notes said that it was supposed to have like yellow and or orange flowers. Okay, so I'm and you got some kind of tricky like plush like cow little toy there, which that may be hard to find as well. I was leaning towards this was probably going to be dropped. Let's let's pause for a second here. Let's get customer A, and then I'll look in the aisle that it says for that cow. I figured I'll look for that. If I don't find that either, then I'm just going to drop this. Okay. Lo and behold, there it is right there. There's the cow. I went right to that aisle, and even though there wasn't very much stuff there, I seen that thing sitting right there. It's like all by itself sitting there. Is like divine intervention, and somebody just set it there for me to grab. And so okay, now, well, since I found this, now let's try the flowers again. Okay, so now there was a substitute, and then the other substitution choice just said any similar flowers in a vase. Okay. Well, okay, let's go with that game plan then. I'm just going to go back there. I'm just going to look for like some kind of bouquet that's in a vase. Okay. So I went back to, this was like the tables that were several feet in front of where all those associates and where I was before. This was like further in the front of the floral department. This is what I picked out right here, and it had like yellow and orange flowers in it, and it's in a vase. Now this is $5 more than the original item. I tried to click on like the any similar flowers, but then that just brought up the search box. So I couldn't scan that barcode. Okay, so I went back in the app. I clicked on the other substitution choice, and when I clicked on that, it didn't ask for me to scan a barcode. So as far as the app purposes, I just selected that I got that first substitution, and then went to the checkout, fingers crossed that I could scan this vase and the red card would go through, and it did. So there you go. So I was able to complete that order. Folks, I'm going to be extremely careful tomorrow, Valentine's Day. Extremely careful. I'll do the flower pickups where I don't have to shop it, but I see anything like this tomorrow, unless it's paying some amount that I can't refuse. It's paying like $40 or $50, 2 or 3 miles, something extreme. I'll take it. But if I would have got this order tomorrow, decline. $20, 4 miles, but with flowers in it that I have to shop, decline. So there it is. There's what I said that I got, but okay. Then it was off to Pet Supplies Plus. just some calming products for dogs. I knew right where this stuff was at. My wife and I, a while back, were in that store and looking in that aisle and all that, those different products for our wild child. So I knew where that was at. Um, and then delivered so delivered the pet supplies next at 10:17. That was right on the way, and I didn't get a pay screen for that. Let's see. Let's turn my phone back on here and bring up the DoorDash app, and we will get the pay here in a second. Okay, we're so that was uh oh, that was only $3 from DoorDash and an 8.40 tip on that. So sweet. Appreciate it from the customer. Um, the next one delivered to, this is like a regular customer. This is an old couple. And I don't know why they continue to have their orders listed as hand to customer. They never, well, the last 4 or 5 times that I've delivered there, they just won't come to the door. And this is what I've had to do each time. I sent my message, and usually I rang the doorbell. This time I decided to knock, and I knock kind of hard. I mean, they're older, probably harder of hearings. I knock kind of loud. Gave it a couple minutes, and like always, they don't come to the door, and then I have to go through all these steps. But I don't know why they wouldn't change it to leave at the door, but I don't know. And then it just took 5 minutes to drop off the flowers. That was like a surprise gift for somebody. It was a lady at a hair salon, and I told her, I said, yeah, I said that now this particular bouquet here, it's not what the original item that was ordered, but I just got the closest thing that to this that I was able to find. And she said, "Oh, well, yeah, this is all a surprise, anyways. I don't know what the original item was, so I mean, it's all good, for me." Um, $8 from DoorDash, $10 tip, and a $4 tip. So, uh, so 9:48 to 10:28. What is that, like 40 minutes? That I did really good there. And then the 11 and change, whatever that was, $33 and like in 40 minutes. That was really good. Um, this I think I declined that. And I think I might have been I was back home, and I declined this. It's going kind of far, and the high item count, you know. And let's keep this over here for a second. A few minutes later, get $8 Wendy's, but that's going down to Southern Point, so decline. And then I went in and took this one. So it looks like it's the probably this Meyer customer from that previous order, and then and then instead of the famous footwear, another Meyer, about the same, roughly the same pay, but like 3 less miles. And because you see here, this customer is going further out, like towards Obet's. Um, so I went ahead and took this other one, and I figured this is gonna, put me like over 140, and um, you know, my like I said, my pee was getting kind of darker. Um, I was a little bit concerned, but I thought I could let's try to do this. Okay, I get into Meyer. Okay, so here's the breakdown. It's 12 items for A, and then the rest of it's B. I didn't feel too good during this shop. It was just like starting to feel a little bit worn out or whatever, uncomfortable, and and then my wife was like, "Yeah, you need to." After this, she said, come home after this one." Um, so about 26 minutes. There's just two substitutes here, that Hawaiian punch and then one of these bottles of water. That was it. Um, Delivered the first one at 11:54, and then we got to the last delivery. We got a book written here from customer instructions. I was on the phone with my wife. I said, "Yes, sometimes some of these customers, they're just not really like good with their words here when they give instructions. It is bumpy from the road up the way to my apartment, so just take it slow. I don't want you to break your bumper I don't want you to break your bumper by the office. It's in the back, in the middle of the two apartment buildings, on the left across from the Black Wreath, apartment C." Does that seem kind of long-winded to you guys and a little bit like too much? I was trying to kind of make sense of this. In the middle of the two apart. What does that even mean? Okay, so let's and my wife was like, "Well, but you probably you'll go by the pin more than anything, right?" I was like, "Yeah, let's start making my way there. I'll see where the pin takes me and just kind of try to make sense of this when I get there." Okay, so I get to this customer and I don't know what she's talking about the bumpy and ruining my car. What did it exactly did it say again? I don't want you to break your bumper. What I had to worry about was not breaking my bumper, but breaking my ass. That's what I had to worry about at this particular customer. It was the hard ice and the hard snow that I had to walk across with making things worse on myself, a case of water that I had to walk over there first, and then two catering bags, two trips across treacherous, hard snow and ice. I had to worry about not falling and breaking my ass. And then, I could have been just right back into the hospital on this delivery. It's a good possibility of that. The, I guess the, I guess maybe she was talking about the entrance to the little driveway when you turn off of the street into the little driveway, and that was like a little steep, I guess, but breaking the bumper off my car, there's another apartment complex that I have to drive over these speed bumps that are so tall that you almost literally have to come to a stop to go over this speed bump. And if you don't, you'll bottom out. This lady's apartment was nothing like that. The building number faced the main road. Okay, it was really simple, guys. Her building number, you could see it from the main road. Okay, the entrance to A and B was in the front, C and D was in the back side. Okay, so this 175 words here could have been just taken down to just a few words. All it needed to say is C is on the entrance to C, or just C is on the back side of the building. Done. That's all it needed to say. C is on the back side. And this whole thing could have just been summed up that way. We had our last delivery. It was several nights ago. I talked about in one of my videos. I had that the Vietnamese pho delivered, and then like the very next night, so the next night I had my leftovers, and we ordered it again DoorDash for my wife, and the dasher that we got, it was a man's name but a woman delivered, and we're right on we're the very first apartment when you pull into the apartment complex. We're right up front. You can't miss us. This lady comes in and just blows past our apartment and is driving around like through the complex. And we tried to get into the chat to message her, but my chat wasn't like, I'd type a letter and it'd take like 5 or 10 seconds for each letter to like show up in the so basically we couldn't chat. And but anyway, long story short, she made her way back around, and we got our stuff. So this delivered at 12:09. What is this? Over an hour for the $30. $8 tip. And I wonder if could this have come from that last delivery, the bigger order that was so concerned about my bumper? This couldn't have come from that second customer, could it? It had to have been the first one, guys. It had to have been. There's no way. I said before, these aren't always in order. You can't go by how it's listed there. So I'm coming back home, but I told my wife, well, I could do. I probably shouldn't do another shopping order, but if I get some like a good paying food order, I can do like one more delivery. But I'm only going to do like 5 declines. That was my limit. Okay. So and I would get all these offers that you'll see here, all of them. Like, I never got back to zone before I got all these offers. So first is a upside down Michael's going to downtown. Not doing that. Decline number 2, Giant Eagle going out that's going the wrong direction. So that delivery. So decline. Here's number 3. $8, 12 mile. That's for 2 orders. So absolutely not. Right away, decline number 4. $9.75 El Vaquero going to West Virginia. No, I'm staying in Columbus, Ohio area. I'm not going out of state for $10. And decline number 5, upside down Chick-fil-A. Well, boom, so much for that. And my wife was like, well, do you think you should have paused it until you got back to zone and then go to kick it on? And I said, well, I mean, it's like, it's just after 12. So yeah, yes and no. She's kind of right, but it's kind of like yes and no. Yes, I could have paused it, but not. I'm probably going to get bombarded with bad Stringtown orders, but there's still the outside chance. Like the other day, I got that $11 Applebee's that was only like 5 or 6 miles. Okay, so I still could have got within those five offers, I still could have got a city barbecue or Chipotle catering. There's still a chance of that, so that's why I left it on. Okay, and went ahead and shut things down at 12:20. So it was 10 deliveries for 141.65. Drove 84 miles. Um, you see 6 hours 17 minutes. I was active 509 of that. That come out to a little over $27 an active hour. So did okay. Now it's 6,720 lifetime DoorDash deliveries. AR is up to 31%. And my Starbucks drop from the 4th fell off today. So that takes me back up to a 97% completion. And that is it for today's dash. I'll relax the rest of the day, drink plenty of water and just kind of watch it. And um, and then have to try to be a little bit more careful uh, tomorrow, especially knowing like what I did today and the effects from that. You know, the hospital discharge paperwork told me it was right. It said, okay, there, as long as that stent's in there, you're gonna have blood in the urine. Okay. Now, the more like physical, more the more physical things that you do, then the more blood there's going to be. Well, sure enough, hey, did I do shopping orders, with multiple catering bags and manhandling cases of water across treacherous snow and ice? And there's what happens to you. It's not, I shouldn't be laughing, guys. It's not funny. But okay. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I had to make the money. I just got to be, like I said, I just got to be smarter about it tomorrow. Um, but anyway, let's wind this down. Thanks, guys, so much for watching. Drive safe out there. Appreciate the support. And we will do this all again tomorrow very carefully. And we'll see you then. Thanks, guys.